Overtime, practiced overtime, a couple 2-point plays, or at least one. I was supposed to run another one, and I forgot to do it. And then we scrimmaged for a little while, about 27 plays, I think it was, after that. So that's what it turned out to be. So you guys can ask what you want.
How good was it to see Cade get out there and be effective after missing?
Yeah, Cade actually practiced Thursday and did well, and then he practiced today and did well. He really did a good job. Had a little razzle-dazzle scramble and hit Lingard for a nice gain in the red zone area. And, you know, it's kind of ones you're like, kind of cringe because you don't really want them running that way and then spinning that way. And usually that ends up in a 20-yard sack, but he bought enough time to find an open receiver and made a play, so everybody would have cheered for that one.
Did they go against first team, second? How'd you do that?
Well, all the situational stuff was against each other. Some was ones versus ones, some was ones versus twos. And then at the end, we pulled guys that had played a lot of football, and didn't play them a lot. So there's more guys probably on defense that didn't get reps than on offense because we just don't have a bunch of guys that we feel have played enough to think that they didn't need more work.
Mark, what would you say about Jaron Williams now that you've seen him?
I like Jaron. You know, he's a good student of the game. He's got a long way to go, but he's really working hard towards learning. He does throw the ball well. He's very good fundamentally. We always talk about that he mostly hits what he throws at, and when he learns the proper reads and progressions, that'll help him. But even if he ends, sometimes it's should I be this side or that side? It's hard to tell with the defense that disguises coverage so well. So he got fooled a few times, but even when he got fooled, if he threw over here when maybe he should have been on that side of the field, he still progressed well, and he put the ball in the money.
What would you tell him?
Most of the time.
What would you tell Nkosi in an exit meeting, that he has to work on this?
Well, that's private. I mean, we'll talk to him about all those things, and that's we'll be talking to those kids on Monday and Tuesday of next week.
What would you tell him? What would you make public that he has to work on this summer?
Just get better at your trade, That's all private stuff.
It sounds like this was the best scrimmage for the offense. The offensive line, did they take some of the credit?
We protected better. We did protect better. We probably went 50-50 on third downs, ones versus ones. We did third and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we did 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we had a guy wide open on one that we just barely missed that would have probably put an advantage offense with the ones. But I think it was 4 and 4. But it was good. It was a good competition day, and we did have better pockets to throw out of today. It was overall a better job by the offensive line protecting.
Mark, a lot of times you have a plan, redshirt the brand new quarterback or whatever. Yeah. How do you deal with that decision?
You just nowadays, I don't like to. I mean, there might have been a day like when I was at Florida State way back. We had them kind of stacked up, and most guys didn't play till their third or fourth year, and they kind of knew it, and they knew if they got to start 2 years, it was going to be a great career. You could win the Heisman, which some of them did, or be runner-up, or be player of the year in the league. So guys kind of knew that was the deal, and if we had that kind of depth, and if we had, a guy that's the undisputed champ, then, a young guy might kind of know he's going to be redshirt. I wouldn't say that about Jaron right now yet. For 2 reasons. He got here mid-year. That changes things. If kids show up in the summer, it's hard. Like back in the day, they'd show up in fall camp. That was their first day. They'd show up first day of fall practice. They weren't even there in the summer. So when they showed up then, it'd be hard to say this guy's going to win the job. But now you got all spring, all summer, all fall camp. You're like a redshirt freshman now. You have a chance, so I'm not going to count him out.
Mark, you touched on exit meetings Monday, Tuesday. Just in general, what's kind of the plan for your program these next few weeks?
Well, again, the exit meetings it's a one-on-one with the coach and the player and say, this is what we think you need to do. This is your strengths, weaknesses, and they self-evaluate. We hear what they have to say. You learn stuff. We ask them who they think the leaders are. We ask a lot of questions that help us. But then that'll happen Monday, Tuesday. Then Wednesday, our coaches are hitting the road, and they'll be on the road for, the next 4 weeks or so, spring recruiting. And there'll be a couple days we'll bring everybody back in town, compare notes before we go back out again to make sure a position, like you might have a coach in his area sees a tight end, well, he may not be the tight end coach. Well, then we have a meeting, say, hey, Hartley, second time around, you got to see this guy. So we'll do some organizational meetings that way. But the players got to finish school. And then there's some discretional time, meaning time that's not mandatory. During that time, they can come in and work if they want to, but we're not going to get in the way of exams. And we schedule nothing here for probably the next couple of weeks. And then when school, there'll be a little bit of time off, and then summer school starts, and the guys start running, lifting, throwing, catching, and getting their academics in order.
Coach, what about Greg Rousseau? He came along, obviously, physically he had it, but mentally the things started.
Some of it, his deal is just line up on the edge and get off and beat the tackle around the corner and sack the quarterback. He did that really good, I can tell you that. Or like you run a zone read, you're handing the ball to the back, and there's Rousseau, and man on the line, the guy you don't block. Well, he's so long, if you hand it off, he can kind of still get the back, but if you pull it, he can still grab the quarterback. It's like, we call them tarantulas. They're like these guys with these big arms. He's just one of those guys. So he's got great genetics for that position, I can tell you that, and he's a super guy. He's learning, he's a happy kid. He should be, he's got a lot of success right now. But, did we really challenge him? When he shows up, in the LSU game, will this veteran tackle whip his tail and teach him a lesson? I don't know. We'll see. We didn't have anybody that could teach him a lesson.
With the offensive line, those 5 guys is now just building that continuity for the top 5.
It's big. Yeah. Well, like I told Navon, and Navon knows, you could be heavier and play guard. If you're going to play tackle, the quickness is important. And he's already a big man. So we want him to, lighten up a little bit and make sure he gets his quickness, and then just work on his skill set.
Couple more, guys.
Mark, it's been a special couple days around here. How much does it mean for these guys when they're scrimmaging and Edrin James is standing there watching it and Kellen Winslow standing there watching?
They love it. I had more guys come to me, former players, and say, I hadn't been here in 20 years. I hadn't been here in however many years. And, now I feel wanted. I feel excited about what's going on. I want to be here. I came because I've been watching from a distance, and I really like what I see. And that does my heart great. We had the U Network event. I'm not going to name names, but I had a guy come to me. He's age 62. He says, where do I go to get my degree? Because we have a station there to help anybody who hadn't got their degree yet get an audit and figure out what's up. And I said, well, Dave Wyman, I was showing him where Dave Wyman was. And he said, Coach, he goes, I promised my dad I'd get my degree. And I never got it. He goes, my dad died 2 years ago. And I want to honor my dad by getting my degree. So because we had that U Network event and he showed up and Dave was there, we made it important for anybody who didn't get their degree to understand how to go about it. That's a great story to me. If that's the only thing that happened on that day, it's a great day. It's a great day. So, anybody else?
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Mark, you told us who had the touchdown. I'm sorry.
Langham caught the touchdown. Okay. And it was actually the first play of overtime, I think.
Okay.
And it was actually, it was Malik threw it, I think. Yes. But it was one of those plays where if you know what you're doing, you can make a play like that. We had a play a combo play, run or pass. Certain looks you run it, certain looks you pass. Well, I think if a rookie was in there, he might have thought there wasn't pressure coming, wasn't a blitz coming, and they might have just run the run into trouble, but he knew what was up, he made the check, and then not only did the receiver that he went to have a certain route, it was a conversion off of a certain route because it was press coverage. And so he knew what to do, and Langham knew what to do, and the line knew what to do, and everybody did it right. And we threw a touchdown, and we could celebrate. And that's the thing that Malik gives us.
Is it fair to say that one of the youngsters is going to have to show you a lot in that regard, and just knowing what to do?
They got to know enough. Yeah, and I'll say this: whoever becomes a quarterback, if it's not Malik, we're going to not make him confused. I have that term, I'm gonna put him on a need to know basis. I say, you're on need to know. I'm gonna tell you what you need to know to function. You may not know why it works or why we do what we do, but you're gonna know what to do. And then, one day you might know why we do it and all that kind of thing. So if we think somebody can perform better and maybe lighten his load a little bit or maybe give some more responsibility to our center. You got Tyler Gauthier who could direct traffic without a quarterback saying who the Mike linebacker is and all that. If I have to do something like that, I'll do it.
So this thing's still open?
Oh, yeah,
Quarterback race still open?
Yeah, until the very bitter end. All season long, too. Every week.